Let me explain a little bit. Maybe you missed it when you came in. Maybe folks online don't know. This morning when I got here, the fire alarm, all that foolishness was going off and beeping and carrying on. And then I came in and we tried to turn the lights on, all that type of thing. It would appear that somehow the building got struck by lightning and fried our internet and telephone and soundboard and just the lights in here. So we're dealing with that. We're going to keep going. God is good, right? Amen. All right. So let's keep going. We're going to jump right in. Thanks for joining us online again. Here's the deal. We're continuing our series, Bottom Line. We're looking at some bottom line teachings from Jesus that say, hey, here's where the rubber meets the road. This is exactly what faith is all about. Right? Now, have you ever seen something and maybe someone right beside you said they saw something different? Or didn't see it quite the same way you did? If you think back just a few years ago, there was that whole, what was that thing? Blue and gold dress or whatever it was. What was it?
Blue and gold dress.
Blue and gold dress, right? And so, I think that that's one of the key things that we're going to look at this morning, because how we view where we are and what we do changes what we do, how we live. Now, there are basically 5 different trains of thought when it comes, spiritual trains of thought when it comes to worldviews spiritually. There's this idea of naturalism, and we would, atheists or agnostics or both of those would fall into that category of naturalists. They say basically the material universe is all that exists. Like everything that we see around us, this is it, right? Secondly, there's this idea of pantheism, and a lot of Hinduism, New Age, those types of things fall into that. The idea with pantheism is that everything is a part of God. Okay? And then there's this idea of theism or Christianity. Christianity falls into that. Basically, it says that there is an infinite and personal God that exists, right? Maybe polytheism, which thousands upon thousands of religions fall into being polytheistic. Basically, it says material things are real, but not only are material things real, but they have a spirit associated with them. So like the chair that you're sitting in, or the sofa you're sitting in, or the pajamas you're wearing. By the way, if you're watching on, no one's here in pajamas. But it would have worked. But not only are they pajamas or seats or whatever it is, but they have an actual spirit to themselves as well. We have this idea of postmodernism, the idea that reality must be interpreted through our own cultural experience. That what's right for me is right for me, what's right for you is right for you, and who are you to tell me what's right for me, and who am I to tell you what's right for you? Now, I believe that there are 3 types of people, not only in the room this morning, but watching online. First, there are those of you who grew up in church. You've been in church since day one, and you've been to Sunday school every Sunday, except for when the pandemic hits. You know all the Bible lessons. You learned all the Bible names, all those different things. There are those who maybe are experimenting with God, with church. Maybe you've been to a few different types of churches. Maybe you used to go like on Christmas and Easter. Maybe you've been to a church service with a friend just because they invited you. You're not sold out on this whole deal. You're just kind of wondering what it's all about. And then I think that there's this group of people that are just seeking. Right? You didn't grow up in church. And I think in the seeker category are a couple of different groups. I think they're on one side of the seeker category. There are people who are broken and life is miserable and falling apart. And you just go, I don't know where else to go. And so I'm just here seeing that this is it. And I think on the other hand, maybe life's not all that bad, but it just feels like it should be something more than the everyday grind. No matter what group you're in, this is a church for everyone. And here today, in person or online, there's someone else out there just like you, no matter where you're at in that journey. I want us to take just a few minutes this morning and look at a passage of Scripture that I believe shapes our worldview and forces us to choose. Do we really believe what we believe is really real? Do we really believe what we believe is really real? You say, well, that's a weird question. It's weird right up until I read this next verse. Matthew chapter 25, verse 41. Then will say to those on his left, depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. Do we really believe what we believe is really real? And if we really believe that what we believe is really real, there's a heaven and hell. There's heaven, there's hell, it's real. And if we truly believe that, we might want to stop and think more about our motives and thoughts and actions. Amen? And if it's not really real, what are we doing here? I guess the question, the bottom line is, how do you see it? I think first, Jesus is going to teach us this morning that he is the separator. Matthew chapter 25, starting verse 31. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. God created the heavens and the earth. He created people in his own image. He said, in the image of God, he created them. And from Genesis to now, it's been God's ultimate desire to bring every single person back into a relationship with him. That we be in good standing with him. Romans chapter 3, verse 23 says, we're all sinners, we've all fallen short of the glory of God. And because of that fact, there had to be a sacrifice. There had to be the sacrifice of the blameless, pure Lamb, the Lamb of God, Jesus himself, in order to take away the sin of the world. What's neat about Scripture says, it's not when we had all our lives together. Romans chapter 5, verse 8 says, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. While we're still sinners, Christ took my place. so that you and I might one day experience overcoming death as well. Now, after the resurrection, Jesus appeared for a short amount of time and told his disciples, the apostles, to tell other people, look, continue to preach this message. Continue to share this good news that I am the resurrection and the life, the way, the truth, the life. Continue to tell people that no one comes to the Father except through me. That's the gospel. After he did that, Jesus ascended back into heaven to sit at the right hand of God. Until a day when Jesus returns to judge the entire world. Jesus will return. And I know you said, well, that's obvious. Have you looked around? Have you seen the news? Have you turned on the news? Have you read the newspaper? I didn't even know they read the newspapers. Do we really believe that what we believe is really real? Is Jesus going to return and separate those into followers of Christ from enemies of the cross? Philippians chapter 3 says that. And if it is really real, what's the separation look like? Matthew chapter 25, verses 33 and 34. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, come, you are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. I love that we get so caught up in Scripture trying to figure out exactly what every little word means and what every little sentence means and what's exactly, what does heaven look like, what's hell look like, when do we get there, when does Jesus decide all that? And Jesus takes it and just breaks it down, makes it simple. Now, how many people in here are farmers? Okay, we got one row of farmers. Okay? I was telling Jason earlier this morning, I got a job one time at a farm. It was a fruit and berry farm, and the guy looked at me. Now, what you need to know is I never had a job on a farm ever before in my life, right? Actually, this was the first job I ever had in my life. And the guy looks at me and says, "You ever worked on this type of farm?" And I said, "No, not this type of farm." Jesus breaks it down and makes it simple. He says, look, to those people in that day, they knew exactly what a shepherd would do. The shepherd was going to take the sheep and the goats out and keep them in one herd, and they'd go out and they'd graze, and he'd watch over, he'd protect them. But when it was time to shear the sheep, he would separate the sheep and the goats so the sheep could be taken to be sheared, right? Now, we don't have to be expert farmers to understand that picture, do we? Sheep on the right, goats on the left. Come, you who are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. It's important to know that this is not just a short separation. The difference here is that Jesus is referring to eternity, where a shepherd would separate the sheep to be sheared. And once that process was done, to bring the sheep and the goats back together, to go back out, graze, and all those things. But these two groups, here what Jesus is teaching, these two groups will never interact again. Do we really believe what we believe is really real? And if we really believe what we believe is really real, some of us might be sheep and some of us might be goats. For eternity. Now I want us to take just a moment as I kind of close up this morning to look and see what those who are separated looks like. Matthew chapter 25, slide down to verse 35. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go and visit you? The king will reply, truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did it for me. Then he will say to those on his left, depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you didn't clothe me. I was sick and in prison. You didn't look after me. They also will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison and did not help you? He will reply, truly, I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. Then they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life. Two totally different groups then. Do we really believe what we believe is really real? You see, the sheep, they get this eternity with the king. You see, what makes heaven heaven? What makes heaven so amazing? It's the presence of God himself. Well, what makes a sheep a sheep? They loved and they served. They're covered by the love of Jesus. They responded to the message that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. They responded and said, yes, I believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God. He died for my sins. They were buried in the waters of baptism. We raised to walk in news of life. They lived a faithful life, serving and trying to get closer and closer to Jesus. But the goats, they're eternally separated from the King. We've all read different things about hell. There are different aspects about hell. There's the fire, burning, weeping, gnashing of teeth, all of those things, right? But I think what really makes hell hell is God won't be there. So how did they get there? They lived selfishly and only concerned themselves. Those in the goat category refused the gospel. Bottom line is how you see it. Do you believe that there's a real heaven and a real hell? Do you really believe what you believe is really real, no matter what you believe? Even if you say, I don't believe there is a God. But do you really believe what you believe is really real? If you really believe that there is a heaven and a hell, then our lives, our actions, our thoughts, our motives should be out of love that someone else might hear the good news about who Jesus is. And if you believe there is no heaven or no hell, you best not be wrong. Let me ask you this. What do you have to lose by responding to the gospel? Absolutely nothing. What do you have to lose by refusing the gospel? Everything. Do you really believe what you believe is really real?